Welcome back to the channel. My name's Tom, and today I'm taking a look at Stroud Mall in Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. Once again, I'm asking the question, is this a dead mall, a dying mall, or is it doing just fine? In my opinion, I would say that this probably falls into the category of dying mall. I don't think it's graduated to dead mall status yet, but it seems to be on its way there. If I'm wrong though, please feel free to let me know in the comments. And for those of you wondering, this was filmed on a Tuesday between about 2:45 and like 3:10 p.m. And don't forget, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment, and hit that notification bell. I've got a lot more mall videos coming up, as well as store walkthroughs and, of course, flea markets. Thanks. So this mall opened in 1978. It was developed by Hess's and the Montgomery Development Company, and it's currently owned by CBL and Associates Properties. The original anchor stores were Hess's, which was the same Hess's that developed the mall. It actually opened a year before the mall in 1977, and Penney. The mall underwent a $12 million expansion in 1994, which added Sears as a third anchor store. And as seems to be the case at a lot of the malls I visit, Penney is the only remaining original anchor store. And stay tuned until the end of the video because I'll be doing a quick walkthrough of the Penney as well. One of the first things I noticed about this mall was that it's fairly dark in a lot of places. Like right here, this entrance, and then a couple of the hallways. There's really not that many lights on. There are lights down this hallway, of course, but the whole place still looks kind of gloomy to me. And I don't know if that's just me because it was a cloudy day or if the mall always feels like this. And while this was a Tuesday at about 3 p.m., there really weren't that many people here either. And I know some people will say, well, you should have come on a Friday or a Saturday, but as I've said before in my videos, you know, a mall can't be busy only on Friday and Saturday to survive. It's got to be at least somewhat busy during the entire week, and this doesn't look very good to me. There's barely anybody in this hallway. I think including myself, there's 4 people in this entire stretch here. I believe this mall was last renovated in 2002, and from what I've read online, the mall currently looks pretty much the same way it did back in 2002. And I would say the mall doesn't look bad, but it is starting to show its age. I mean, it's 22 years at this point since the last renovation, and it could definitely use a freshening up, I think. Straight ahead, this is where the original anchor store Hess's was located from 1977 until 1994, when it was replaced by the Bon-Ton. The Bon-Ton then closed in 2017. This ShopRite moved in 2019. And Bin 37 is actually a restaurant inside the ShopRite. This ShopRite is one of the very few supermarkets that I've ever seen inside a mall. The only other supermarket in a mall that I can remember is the Wegmans that used to be at the Natick Mall until it closed last year. On a side note, I actually did do a video at the Wegmans last year, not long before it closed, but I never posted it for whatever reason. So if anybody wants to see that video, let me know. As I'm sitting here watching back the video, I am noticing water damage in the roof here. I don't think I really noticed that while I was walking around, but there are quite a few water stains here, so they definitely have a leaking roof, which is never a good sign, of course. Do people ever play these VR games at the mall? I've seen tons of those machines and I've never seen a single person playing one of them, ever. On the left is the Cinemark movie theater, which used to be a Lowe's up until 2010. I'm not sure when the Lowe's actually opened. It might have opened with the mall, but I couldn't find any info on that. It was replaced by the Cinemark in 2011, and was upgraded from a 7-screen theater to the current 14 screens. And as far as I can tell, it's one of the mall's main draws at this point. The mall had its first major renovation in 1994, which added the Sears at the end of the hallway, which we'll get to in a minute. But I'm not sure what else they added in the 94 renovation, so I don't know if this food court here was there before the 94 renovation or if this was added as part of the renovation. So again, if anybody knows the answer to that, please let me know in the comments. One thing I can tell you about this food court, though, is that it doesn't seem to be doing very well. I'm counting 2 open restaurants and 4 closed, which is obviously not good. Now on the right here, I thought this was very unusual. It's a place called Buffalo Skills, and at first I thought, oh, it's an arcade. But I think this would be classified as a casino, because these look like slot machines to me, and they appear to be paying out cash. Now I have been to the Newburgh Mall in Newburgh, New York, which does have a full-size casino in it, but it's completely separate from the mall, and they have security guards there, and obviously people are working inside. I've never seen one of these arcade-type casinos before. Now, there was a sign on the door that said no one under 21, but I could see, an older-looking teen going in there and gambling and getting away with it because there's nobody there watching. So I wonder if that's an issue and, how they deal with that. And now at the end of the hallway here, this is where Sears was located from 1994 until it closed in 2019. A couple of fun facts about the Sears was that it was the only 2-floor store in the mall, and it had the first escalator in Monroe County, Pennsylvania. The Sears was replaced by EFO in 2020, which only takes up the first floor of the old Sears. Strangely, EFO is closed on Tuesdays, which seems like an odd day to be closed, and it also happens to be the day I came to the mall. According to the mall's website, the second floor of the old Sears is currently occupied by something called Reaching Out for Jesus Christian Center. This is a pretty cool looking arcade. It's called the Arcade Era. Sadly, it wasn't open yet. It opens at 3, and it was about 2:50 or so when I was filming this. I did end up coming back in, 10-15 minutes once it was open, but it's one of those places where they charge something like $20 just to get in the door, so I was not able to go in and just do a walk around. This place looks like it used to be one of those stores called Journeys, just based on the color scheme. Could be wrong, but that's what it looks like. And finally, here's the only remaining original anchor store, one of my favorite clothing stores of all time, Penney. While it may not be the most exciting store ever, it is the only major clothing store or department store open today that was around in my home state of Connecticut when I was growing up in the 70s and 80s. Every other major store I grew up with, like Sears, Kmart, G. Fox, Sage Allen, D&L, Caldor, Bradley's, Zehrs, Ames, are all either out of business entirely, or like Sears and Kmart, they no longer have any stores in my home state. So I'm actually just starting to realize how lucky we are to still have this store around. Hopefully it'll be around for a long time to come, but just in case it's not, I figured I'd better start documenting as many of these stores as I can. So now let's take a quick look around. Something I've noticed about a lot of JCPenney's is that they tend to have a lot of clearance signs up. Like just a few more than I would normally expect. You know, they don't seem to be going out of business as far as I can tell. But as you'll see, there are a lot of clearance signs in this store. They're also one of the few major clothing stores I know of that actually have a decent big and tall section. Now we're going into the home store, and they must have a problem with shoplifting here because as soon as I walked in, that alarm went off, and the exit to the store, which is on the left there, is actually closed. My guess would be because there doesn't seem to be anybody actually working in this section, shoplifters were probably trying to sneak out this exit. All right, well now back to the mall. And there you have it. That's the Stroud Mall in Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. Once again, I would say this is a dying mall. It's not quite dead, but it's definitely getting there. But of course, let me know what you think in the comments. And now don't go anywhere yet. I am going to do a drive around of the mall. Sadly, I seem to have lost half of the footage of the outside of the mall. I got the first half, and then the second half, which would have had the old Sears and the back of the mall, is just gone. I don't know what happened to it, so I do apologize for that. But at least I do have half of the outside of the mall, so let's take a look. So first up we have the ShopRite, which opened in 2019. And as I mentioned earlier, this was originally Hess's from 77 until 94. And then it was the Bon-Ton from 94 until 2017. Here's what it looked like when it was Hess's. And then here's a couple pictures of what it looked like when it was the Bon-Ton. And then finally, here's the Penney. And I would say this is the original facade from 1978, almost certainly. And I love that glass roof there. And there you have it. That is the Stroud Mall in Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment, and hit that notification bell. I've got a lot more mall videos coming up. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.